Hey everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and we are continuing More Phenomenal Week today by reviewing the Red Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, Jason. Take a look at this bad boy right here. Now, I know I reviewed Jason beforehand along with Tommy and the Megazord in a previous video, but that was kind of rushed, and I'd rather take my time with just Jason himself. Kind of sit down, have a candlelight, have a nice dinner, and talk about Jason. Give a bit of his character history, and also go into detail about the figure a bit more, or as much detail as you can about these figures. But Jason, a little bit of information about him. Jason was given the Red Dino Tyrannosaurus coin from Zordon, and he became the first Red Ranger. He also became the team leader for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, or simply just Power Rangers. And he would lead the team in numerous battles against various enemies, monsters, douchebags, and assholes that Rita Repulsa and Lord Zed would send at the Rangers. Jason was also noted for being the Ranger that was able to defeat the evil Green Ranger, who was Tommy, and bring him over to the side of good. Jason would continue to be a vital and important member to the team and the team leader up until him, Trini, and Zach were called over into a peace mission, or a peace conference, or kind of a trip around the world for peace, whatever they called it. And he relinquished the role of leader to the White Ranger, who was Tommy at the time, and gave his Red Ranger power role, the mantle of the Red Ranger, to Rocky. Now, like stated before, there's many theories on why Jason was able to morph into the Red Ranger, even though Rocky had the Red Ranger power coin and was eventually destroyed by Goldar. The theory behind this is that if you look at the scene with the Sword of Power when it was transferring the power from Jason, Zach, and Trini over to Aisha, Adam, and Rocky, both Rangers were morphed, both sets of Rangers were morphed, and both sets of Rangers had power coins. It's theorized that Jason kept the original power coin while a copy was given to Rocky, and his power coin was connected into the morphing grid. This explains why the Rangers, both sets of Rangers were morphed, and at the same time why Jason was able to morph in Forever Red. So that's the theory, that Jason kept the original power coin. So Jason left along with the other two Rangers, but eventually would return in Power Ranger Zeo and took on the mantle of the Gold Ranger, taking the powers for Traya Triforia while he was recuperating and pulling himself together, quite literally. Jason would serve as kind of a backup and second in command. He told Tommy that he left the Rangers in good hands and that he didn't want to take the position of leader away from Tommy after Tommy has been leading so long. So Jason was the Gold Zeo Ranger or Gold Triforian Ranger, depending on how you interpret it, because the powers are from Triforia. And he would help out the Rangers until his body was unable to handle the Gold Ranger powers, because the Gold Ranger powers are probably the most powerful Ranger powers there is, and they really were made for Trey, who was Triforian. So Jason was human, his body really couldn't handle it. Eventually he had to relinquish the powers, and he left the Zeo team. Jason then again would return in Power Ranger Turbo movie, where him and Kimberly were taken under control by Divatox. Eventually the spell was broken and Jason returned back to normal. The last time we see Jason is in Forever Red, when he comes in and helps all the other Red Rangers defeat the remains of the Machine Empire and get rid of Serpentera. And the whole entire time, Jason's showing all the other Red Rangers what it means to be a Red Ranger. So, that's basically Jason's history. Basic personality of Jason. Jason, you would think he's a stereotypical jock, asshole, kind of one of those preppy people, but Jason is anything but that. He's a very level-headed individual, very much a big brother figure to the rest of the Rangers, all the Rangers. And he often puts a lot on himself. He blames himself for a lot of the bad things that happen to the Rangers. Like Tommy losing his powers. Although it wasn't Jason's fault, he blames himself for Tommy losing his powers the first time. Jason is a very capable leader. Zordon commented that there was no finer leader that he could have picked for the Ranger team than Jason, when Jason was going to go save the other Rangers in their power candle drain thingy. So Jason is a very capable leader. He was able to make the decisions, and he's strategically smart, but also able to step down and give the role of leader to other people when it's necessary and for the better good of the team. Powers and ability-wise, Jason is a master martial artist and probably the most skilled martial artist out of the Ranger team. A lot of people debate on who's better, Tommy or Jason. For the sake of argument, I like to think of them as equals. However, Jason was able to beat Tommy, while Tommy, the best he could do is draw with him. And Jason beat Tommy when Tommy outmatched Jason Ranger power-wise, with the Green Ranger power. Jason gets all the enhanced strength, speed, and durability that comes with being a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. He also has the standard Ranger blaster/blade weapon, the Power Blade, which is a razor-sharp sword. He also, for a short time, had the ability to control the Green Ranger powers, which was the Dragon Shield and the Dragon Flute, allowing him to perform various projectiles and also be able to defend himself against projectiles. Jason also had the Triforian Gold Ranger power, but I'm not really going to go into that now because it would take too long. Jason had the control over the Red Tyrannosaurus Dinozord, the Red Dragon Thunderzord, temporarily the Dragon Zord, and also Pyramidas, which was the Gold Ranger Carrier Zord. And to this day, Jason still has his Red Ranger powers, and all the standard benefits that come from it. So that's a little information about Jason. He's definitely a cool Ranger. I know he's my favorite Ranger of all time, and I know I give him a lot of props, but he deserves it. I mean, he was rated the #1 Red Ranger of all time in an online vote on, I think, Disney.com. I don't know, like 2 years ago. So with that said, this is Jason's 2010 figure, as you've seen multiple times before. He comes with the standard Ranger blaster. I'm not going to pull it out, but it fits snugly into his side there, and it fits okay in his hand. The blasters could have fit a little bit better. Jason also comes with his power sword, which is also black. It's a nice length. I remember back in the day with the Flip Rangers, you know, you press the button, the heads flip, and they morph. He had like a dinky little sword. That's the only time Jason would ever get his sword in an action figure, but his sword looks nice here. Jason's body, while same as Billy's and Zach's, is very nicely proportioned. It's muscular, but it's not overly muscular like other figures. I believe the 15th anniversary Red Ranger figure that I have back there, that I might review at some point. Jason has all the standard articulations that Zach, Tommy, and Billy had, and also Trini too, to a point. So he can move his arms up and around, his head up and down, or around. He just can't move at the waist. But on a whole, for a figure of his size, it's good articulation. Much better than the DC Infinite Hero figures, but not quite as good as, say, the G.I. Joe figures, the new G.I. Joe line. So on a whole, good articulation. Very nice design, of course. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers had some of the coolest uniforms out there. Definitely better than a lot of the other Ranger uniforms. Wild Force. But very nice figure. Definitely worth picking up. Even though I'm going to love this figure to death because it's Jason and he's my favorite Power Ranger, the items fit well with him, like his sword and his blaster. He holds them well, unlike some of the Rangers. He's good at posing. You can do a lot of dynamic poses with him. So on a whole, he's a nice figure and definitely one of the figures that you want to get first. One benefit to that, if you don't get Jason first and you go for some of the other ones, he's probably one of the more common figures too. You can get him, him and Tommy I find to be the most common figures along with like Goldar. And I want to get Goldar soon because Goldar is a badass. But that's Jason. That's a bit of information on Jason. Great figure. Like I said, definitely one of the better figures of the line. Definitely one of the best of the normal figures, and on par with Tommy with being just a fantastic looking figure. So on the whole, I recommend getting this. And if you have not seen Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, despite its corniness and despite it being a little dated, I recommend you go back and you actually watch it. It would be worth it for characters like Jason. So with that said, I'm going to end this review here. This is Andrew saying, peace out for now.